Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. How are you doing today, Peter?
Pretty good, man. Just starting the day off with you, just recording this, you
What is
know?
your week looking like? What are you studying these days? What are you doing?
Oh man, I think I mentioned this, right? Like I'm trying to doing my research, trying to solve this
Yeah.
problem with videos and language, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have a
You
new
know?
job, right? For the
Yeah,
summer?
oh
You have a
yeah.
summer
I'm doing
job?
summer job, a little summer
Nah.
job gig out here. I'm in the Silicon Valley.
Nice.
Um,
Silicon Valley, man.
yeah, doing my summer internship,
You being a
but
tech bro?
that's right.
You're a
In a
tech bro
sense.
having a hot boy summer? Is that what you're doing out
That's
there?
right. Hot Boy Summer in the Tech Boy Central in the Silicon
Yeah,
Valley. It's
that's gotta be
lovely
cool.
here. Like the weather,
Man,
just you can't beat the weather here.
that's
It's
true.
like
That's true.
but anyway, how about you, man? What's going on with you?
Oh, I just got back from Boston. I did a 2-day filming with BJJ slash Judo Fanatics, so that was pretty cool. I
All
brought
right.
Eugene with me. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, Eugene came along too. All
Yeah,
right. So I know a lot of you probably know that he's done all of these before. So
yeah.
was it more BJJ this time? It,
So it's not quite BJJ, and I'll tell you a funny story. Like Bernardo used to come to my dojo. Bernardo Faria, who's a partner with BJJ Fanatics, he was a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
oh
and
yeah.
he used to come by and he was like, "Oh, you got to do another one," and all this stuff. And like, maybe I'll show some spider guard, and he would die laughing, like, "Yeah, no, 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 man, stick with judo."
He
So
knew that your spider guard was awful.
yeah. So I stuck with judo.
Okay.
But it's no-gi judo. That's what I did. Everyone's been asking for it, so I decided to do a full-blown
Nogi
instructional.
Judo this time. All right. Oh, okay, okay. It's really taking off, huh? Like
Oh, really?
yeah.
I pulled my Instagram like, hey, what should I show on Fanatic next? And everyone just like one after another was no-gi judo was probably like 80% of the answers. Seriously, it was
That's
unbelievable.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we dedicated multiple episodes to that, so it's
yeah.
very interesting to see. So, and yeah, and Bernardo, well, did you get to see him? Did he tell you it's
No,
a
he wasn't
huge
there.
honor?
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
But it was really
Dude.
cool, before I went, I went multiple times to film for
Yeah.
Fanatics, and then a few times I went to the headquarters where they have like a studio in the headquarters, like office. That
Yeah.
was pretty cool. I went to one where I filmed, they have multiple filming locations in the area also,
Oh,
so
okay.
Bernardo's gym has like sort of a filming studio. Travis Stevens'
Oh.
gym underneath Jimmy Pedro's Judo Center, they have like a specific jiu-jitsu school slash filming studio.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, built
Oh,
specifically for that.
Travis is also heavily involved, huh?
Yes, yes,
I'll
yes.
say. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
pretty cool,
Yeah. Bernardo used to come all the time, remember,
all the
at the
time.
gym. I mean, I got to roll with him and also did some judo with him. I was such
Yeah.
a nice guy. I remember he would let me, I have to, I can, my claim to fame is that I passed his guard. He let
Well,
me do it, but
that's a very big statement to say on a widely
he
available podcast.
I know he's such a nice guy. He would. That was a thing. Like he's so. I mean, obviously he's the world champion, and he's so much bigger than me. Obviously, he's gonna destroy me and
Yeah.
everything. But when I rolled with him, he would let me work, man. And he was such a good training partner. And then that
It's
kind of
great.
goes to
Yeah.
show, like, and we're kind of going off the tangent and just. But I just want to say how great of a guy he is, because
Yeah.
you can tell he's such a good partner, and that's why I'm sure that's one of the big reasons, like to his world championship, and then you
And
get to,
it's
yeah,
very interesting because like as an athlete, he's wasn't like super explosive or anything like that. And like it's not like he was a super coordinated, super freak of an athlete. He had
yeah,
a couple of things that he did very well, knew it, and just kept grinding and had
right.
a lot of success with it.
It's over
Yeah.
underpass and everything, right?
Over on
Like
that
it's,
whole system, like he
yeah,
really kind of mastered that thing and like, did it to everybody. It was pretty
pull
cool.
guard. What was it? Pull guard. He was do like a little single leg
Deep
to
half,
sweep.
yeah, deep
Yeah, deep
half,
half. Yeah,
sweep, yeah, single leg, over underpass, pass, and then pass
yeah,
that collar, bring it up, and choke you
yeah.
from there. Really
To
cool. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about that. Like what to Nogi instructional. So
Yeah.
maybe like just filming instructions in general. Like I think people uh are pretty curious about the process, especially after the popular episode about CJI versus
Mm.
ADCC that we did. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of debate because we talked about how judo athletes around the world get paid
Yeah.
and how it's uh judo athletes are it's not they're not really incentivized to film instructionals because they get a salary, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a different story in the U.S. And for BJJ athletes. So what I think a lot of people asked about this process. So yeah, so you mentioned how you got hooked up with
Yeah.
Bernardo. So and how does it usually happen? You know, can anyone just kind of go and do it? Like, yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
in the
Like in any business, it ebbs and flows, and they have certain trending
yeah,
things, and they pivot and things like that. For a little while in the beginning, they were only trying to get bigger names, people with online presence and stuff that might sell, right? Because they were
yeah,
limited amount of resources in terms of like
right,
finding guys to film, finding guys to edit, all these things. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So all those factors kind of played into it, and then eventually they kind of opened up the floodgates and said, "All right, if you're a black belt, we'll film you." And
Mhm.
they kind of went that route, and then they went the route of like, "Hey, if you can film it, these are the guidelines, and then we'll post it and we'll push it for you." Right?
Mhm.
So they went that route, but they really cut back on the number of people that they're filming now, I think, and they're really focused on sort of the top 10 percentile or something like this. That's just my guess. I don't really know because I'm not in the business, but it's what I felt was going on.
Yeah,
And yeah, they really doubling down on the Donahers and the Craig Jones and those guys who kind of are outliers, even, considering all the people who've ever filmed.
yeah, yeah,
And then you talk about length of the video, and they said average hour to hour and a half is like the average length of the video, instructional.
right.
Judo tends to be a little bit less.
Huh.
Takedowns tend to be a little bit less. Jiu-jitsu tends to be a lot longer, they said.
Oh, okay, okay. I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
So they're more, yeah, they're really a media production company now. And
Yeah, I didn't even want to say that, because they went down the rabbit hole of like competitions and this and that. And God knows what they're trying to pivot into.
oh,
And,
okay.
they had striking fanatics, judo fanatics, BJJ
Oh, okay.
fanatics. They kind of went the route of like, all right, maybe we'll do a fanatics branding for everything. I really don't know where they are in terms of how they're going
Right.
to try to position their company, where they're going to pivot to. I don't know.
I
It's
see.
just me just kind of guessing over here as a
Yeah.
person that's sort of filming with them. I'm one of their products, right? And one of
Yeah,
their
yeah.
clients also. And so
So
yeah,
so your initial hookup with them was through Fernando, but
Ronaldo.
how did they ask you to film the Nogi Judo this
Well,
time?
so I always have sort of open line of conversation going with them. I chit
Yeah.
chat with them every now and then. I catch up with them.
Yeah.
Zenga, who's the other owner, who's the guy that started BJJ Fanatics, came to New York to work out with Glick.
Ah, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, so they came to my gym and we're all hanging out, we're rolling, we're doing half guard stuff, and then we were initially gonna do a film at the dojo. And there's options for people who can sort of drive revenue that they'll
Yeah.
send guys to film down here and et cetera, et cetera. But I
Yeah.
had a social media guy that was like, I'll film it and I'll do it. I'll read the guidelines and I'll
Eh,
plan it all out, and then, I was waiting on that guy and it just never kind of happened. And
I see. So
yeah,
you just had to just drive up. Okay.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to
Yeah.
just go up because I've been kind of
Yeah.
putting off this thing. And I put out a lot of mini instructionals because I figured that was the best efficient like use of my time, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I'll do
yeah.
like a 10, 15-minute segment, one shot, the most concise instructional about
Oh,
Uchimata.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. And then sell it for much cheaper, not like a $200 thing, but everything condensed in a 15-minute session. And then I could kind of like throw those out there and people can not get priced out. And that was kind of my idea.
Right, right, right.
But that too is a hassle, because now all of a
Yeah.
sudden you got to keep making more. And people are like, I didn't know it was 15 minutes. And then you have to like
Oh,
send it, and then
really?
the
Yeah.
download speeds, and then like you couldn't, they lose download. They have 3 download attempts. So then you have to like
Oh, man.
reset it through Sendowl, which was what we were using, and then it became a hassle. So I hosted it on YouTube and put unlisted links.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then people will be like, I paid for this instructional. Why am I getting a YouTube video? It's like, no, no, no. It's a private link. Like it's unlisted.
Yeah.
It's not available to the public. And some people didn't understand that, and then I had to explain it to. It's a huge hassle.
Oh, that's an
So
interesting problem. Like
yeah,
I actually didn't expect that. But I get it. I mean, that's it's a product. Uh
yeah,
it's a unique product that,
it's a unique product. Yeah,
it's so a lot of times like people don't understand it, which is
yeah. And
fine.
then there's all these hosting services, right? Uscreen and all this stuff, and then but you're paying a huge monthly fee,
Yeah.
and they base it on how much
Yeah.
gigabytes of information gets transferred and such, and managing that, and you got to make it back, and then now you have an ongoing thing, and you're stuck with it. And you
Yeah.
can't take it out. It's just like so many issues that I never even thought
Yeah.
were gonna pop up. I really thought it was gonna be like, all right, set up a Squarespace, put it up, people buy it, they download it, done.
I
It
mean,
wasn't like
that's
that at all.
why I find this whole video thing fascinating because it's actually not an easy media. It's so ubiquitous, so people just think that it's easy to handle. But from the technical side, there's a reason why these hosting services charge, and
Yeah,
it's very
yeah,
hard,
yeah.
even on the technical side. And
Very
that's why I'm
hard.
kind of one of the reasons that drew me into researching into it. Videos. Anyway, so this at this if you go with Fanatics, they kind of take care of the distribution for you,
They do
right?
everything. They do
Yeah,
everything. It's half and half, right? For it's 50
yeah,
50 revenue split.
yeah,
I hope I'm allowed to talk about this. But they split everything, but they do all the work. They put
yeah.
marketing muscle behind it, the infrastructure, and people complain about, oh, they take a percentage. Yes, but they're doing everything for
Everything,
you.
yeah,
And unless you've done everything for yourself and see how much work it actually is, dude, you don't really have any clue how much work actually goes into it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
I
I
get it.
personally
Yeah,
tried to do it, and it's like, man, it was like taking on 2 full-time jobs because you got to learn the stuff.
yeah. I mean, you know, I'm the producer of this podcast, and then I've learned. I don't do much, but yeah, I really have like a
Peter, you do
newfound.
a lot. You do a lot. You know what it
Well,
is, man? It's your
what?
knowledge of knowing computers, internet, software engineering, all this stuff, being efficient, workflows, all the experience you've had, 10 years working in tech, 15 working, that's, you know,
I mean, it does help, but I do have newfound appreciation for video
yeah,
editors and
all the
social
stuff
media
that you're
market
doing,
people.
if I
Yeah.
had to figure it out on my own and do it by myself, it would take me years. That's
Yeah, I appreciate
yeah,
that. But yeah,
yeah,
it's there's a reason why these businesses exist, and then I understand that, like, there's a lot of I think a lot of people complain that, oh, athletes should get paid more, bigger
yeah.
cut, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing debate, right? Like,
Dude,
yeah,
always, right? Every business, it's like, oh,
yeah,
this should be free, that should be free, but you want hot towels at Equinox and you
right,
want an eucalyptus spray in the sauna. That money has to come from somewhere. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And the more money that they can bring in, they could spend that on more filmographers, more
yeah,
directors, more editors, more people who go on remotely. And for a little while, they were sending guys all over the world to get the best judo champions, video product of their own,
yeah. And you have to
which was
understand that
supposedly, yeah,
you have to fly them in or something, and
yeah,
it's a whole deal. And
yeah,
I think same with like judo gyms,
yeah,
because a lot of times we talked about this a lot, right? They were like hobbyist teachers, so they
yeah,
were charging bare minimum, and then I think that kind of sets a wrong expectation, right? Like
yeah, yeah.
they think even with instructionals, like you're releasing a lot of the instructionals on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it seems like people have that expectation that, oh, they should be free, or just throw some ads on, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah.
So this time, Nogi Judo, with the Fanatics.
Yeah.
Uh, can you give us like a little preview of what you covered?
Yes. So usually, like I said, it's like an hour, hour and a half for takedown stand-up stuff. But
Yeah.
I got 3 hours for 2 videos. So we have 6 hours total almost, right? That we filmed of
Oh,
actual content. Yeah. So
six,
two videos.
two videos coming out
Yeah.
separate. Yeah.
One is nogi, foot sweeps and trips,
All right.
which I cover all the foot stuff,
Yeah.
foot sweeps, kochi, kosorogake. And yes, there's a very strong correlation with wrestling.
Yeah.
But I tried to leave out the basic wrestling stuff. So I'm not in there teaching like, all right, this is how you do stance in motion and take a single leg, or this is
Yeah.
how you do a double. Yes, those things exist. These are some of the defenses, but really we want to focus on the stuff that's a crossover between judo, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling altogether that's not usually said and emphasized.
Right,
That was
right.
kind of the direction for this one. And in the beginning, I have a what is no-gi kind of excerpt where it's like, hey, what is this thing? It's this theoretical grappling style that doesn't have a governing body. It's this new sort of thing that we're all kind of experimenting and it's evolving. It's an idea.
Yeah.
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 So that's one video. And then the other one is nogi judo throws. So it's like the throwing side of things.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Well,
Tons
that's
of content. Yeah.
that's exciting. So I mean, yeah, the two different topics, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it'll. So the foot sweeps, I know it was pretty popular in the BJJ circle for a while.
Yeah, they
I don't
love
know,
it. They love
but
it.
that I don't know if it's still true. But do you think like the trend now? I think people started doing a lot more trips because my understanding is that Gordon Ryan started doing it a lot as his meta to take the person down with the like lower risk foot sweeps or something.
Yeah, maybe. You know, he
Yeah.
does a lot of like seated guard foot sweep stuff too, and they would call
Yeah.
it double kouchi,
Oh,
things
okay.
like that. So it's like maybe I don't really
So
know,
yeah.
but it makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
this is the whole idea was like because submission, grappling, nogi, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, a lot more guillotine and stuff, so people are less hesitant to
Like,
shoot,
yeah.
and then they don't have good shots, right?
And then they're more
So
upright because of
more
that, right?
upright, so they have
Yeah.
more access, upper body, feet to feet.
Yeah.
Right. So like creating the right off balance and the timing to attack the feet, and then looking
Yeah.
for certain reactions, and then using their main line of defense to kind
Right.
of take advantage and take the person down. Those are
Yeah.
the things that we really kind of dove deep into in the
Yeah.
instructional. Yeah.
So foot sweeps have been like battle tested in the
Yeah.
competition, and
Yeah.
but now your second video with the
Yeah.
throws, I don't know if that's like part of the mainstream meta right now.
Not
So
yet, but
what do you think about that? Like, do you think throws are really like just not talking about nogi judo itself? Of course,
yeah.
nogi judo
Yeah.
throws are a big part of it because judo has a huge
Yeah.
list of throws. But in submission grappling, you think they'll be able to be applied effectively,
Yeah, for
just
sure.
as effectively as foot sweeps?
I think so. And I think you see it in
Yeah.
freestyle wrestling, Greco, and collegiate wrestling. And if it succeeds there, it should
Yeah.
succeed theoretically in any other grappling sport, really. And some
Right.
techniques are better than others. When you take
Yeah.
a Koshiguruma and just take all the elements from judo and just try to immediately apply it in nogi context, it doesn't work because there's
Right.
things you can't lock onto. So
Yeah.
some of the concepts I spoke about, it's like forming a closed loop around your opponent's upper body, right? Whether in judo, you could grab the collar and the sleeve, but the band behind my two hands is connected by the gi. So it forms
Right.
a closed loop, which makes it a very stuck position. As opposed to there's no
Mm.
gi, and if you're holding the head and the wrist, it's not really a closed, it's an open position reliant
Right.
on your hand strength
Right.
and then slippage and things like this. So going for like a pinch headlock where you connect your hands around their head and arm, right? And then keeping it and then using that to set up big hip throws and stuff. That's one of the ideas we talked about,
I see.
right? And then certain throws that can like Tayatoshi. Everyone's showing one-handed Tayatoshi in a nogi context. I don't think it works.
Yeah, that's one of
It
my
doesn't work
favorite.
well. It doesn't work
Yeah,
well.
that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite throws in judo. So I do it all the time, but yeah, it doesn't work because again, you have so much more leverage with the hands in judo in gi because you
Yeah.
can just grab the gi, but I try to do it in wrestling. It's just you slip out. There's not
Slip
enough
out.
like
Nah. Especially when you're sweatier.
yeah
In the beginning, maybe not. But like using the effective, the underhooks effectively and things like this.
yeah
And then there's certain things that you could do, like don't get ear to ear because you can't throw anybody from there or shoot anybody from there, right? But there's a stuff that I use to get over 200 career wrestling wins, and I've spent a lot of time in that position, so I know it very well. So it's like, if you wrestled, don't get ear to ear. It's sort of a very common thing that you hear, right? So no one really
Yeah.
invests time in learning
just
stuff
like
from there.
locking up in headlock
Yeah,
like that
collar tie, ear
collar
to
tie,
ear.
but yeah.
Yeah. But I
I
have a
got
couple of
yelled at
throws
all
from
the
there.
time. But
All the time.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of good throws from there.
yeah.
A lot of good throws with different setups to kind of mitigate the risk of if you were doing it in a judo context. You know what I mean? A lot of
Right.
times you get a reaction with your hands and feet and then try to time it and then you're locked in with the gi.
Yeah.
You're kind of playing this level game with the wrestling. So you're
Yeah.
collar tie, snap, snap, and then as their head comes up, you're trying to wedge your shoulder underneath their chin so the head doesn't slide, and then try to connect the hand around,
Right.
the head and arm and things like this. So, definitely different. We talk a lot about hand fighting, arm drag positions, 2-on-1s, throws that you can do that are very specific to judo, carried over to nogi context, but not with the traditional grips that you may see.
Yeah.
So I truly think it's a unique product. I really do. And there's 6 hours worth across two videos. So I'm really proud of
Dang.
this one.
Wait, so you recorded 3 hours of raw footage or
Well, so what they do is like, all right, we're going to go segment by segment, and everyone kind of has a different process. Some people go out there and like, I'll give you an example. Like Brian Glick goes out there, there's a whiteboard, huge whiteboard, and he's writing
He's a
ideas
scholar.
and
He's a
maths,
scholar.
and he's
I
putting
can
this over
totally see him.
here.
Yeah.
Everything connects, and how to use this video, and it's a whole freaking thing, right? It's a
Yeah.
masterpiece, it's like an orchestra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But sometimes you get a bunch of Brazilians in there, like, okay, let's film. This is what I do from here. This is what I do from there.
It's like a
Isn't-
stream of consciousness, just like
It's like,
going
is
on
it
and on.
enough?
Yeah.
And some people get away with that. And I used to do that too in the beginning, where it was like, all right, guys, we're doing basic judos, throws. That's it.
Yeah.
I go here, I go here. This is right versus right. This is advantage. How do you cut the hand? How do you do this? Lapel hand versus sleeve hand. Tatoshi setting it up properly. Right? It's kind of like a stream of conscious thing.
Yeah.
This time I was a little bit more organized.
Okay.
And then we go from position to position, showing different throws from each position, et cetera, et cetera. And then, we're spending we started at 10 a.m. We ended at like 5 p.m. So over the course of 7 hours, we're filming.
Jeez.
And in between, we'll get a water break, or I'll think about what's next, or, talk to Justin, who was like the director, the cameraman also.
Are they,
What do you think should go next?
is the filming crew also, like, do they also practice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're all trained.
like
They're all trained.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So, he's a really cool dude, a pretty high level Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, big dude, Justin, and he was awesome. And he kind of gave me some tips and advice, and, almost like a director almost,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like
And then they charted out, but then we got actual footage for, unless something gets cut out, You never know, because the sound is off or whatever it was. They could decide to cut it, but we got close to 3 hours both days.
So then now it's their job to edit it, package it up, and make it into an actual product.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, dude, 7 hours? Most of it
Yeah,
tiring.
Yeah, we did 7 hours on Monday, 7 hours on Tuesday.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
So
We had
7
2
hours
days.
for each episode, each DVD.
Second day was a lot easier because we were flying through it.
Oh,
Because
okay.
some of the stuff in the beginning I had to repeat because it's a separate video.
Oh, okay.
So I made sure to repeat it in a way that was sort of new.
I see.
So not to be too redundant.
Right.
We're talking a little bit about stance and motion, position, approaching the person, first hand contact is which way. What do you do if this person puts this hand out, that hand out? What are the ideas and the concepts, angling off, right? And then trying to connect with stuff you already know. Like if you're already a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt, these are the things you may do already.
Yeah.
Maybe you know how to do a single leg, using that to close the distance to collar tie, right? If you wrestled in high school, these are probably the moves you're pretty good at.
Yeah.
Do it like this in a nogi submission wrestling setting to protect your neck, protect your arm, and then climb up the body and then force this upper body chest to chest position. And these are the ways you gain advantage from there to try to use your throws.
Yeah.
So I'm really good at this stuff.
I know. Yeah, I could tell. I'm excited to see it. So before we move on, we have some people to thank.
Yes. We have our usual sponsors. We have
right.
Jason, Levon, and Joe.
That's right. They're like official sponsors of our podcast. And we have a new sponsor with a shout out, Kevin. His gym. 1 second. It's Bay Area Judo Championships. So it's their second annual. So I think it's on the East Bay. So Silicon Valley, that's the Bay Area,
California.
too.
Okay. So
yeah,
Kevin's
California.
Judo tournament, East Bay Judo Championships in the Bay Area in California. Go check that out. Thank you very much, Kevin, for supporting us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll put all the links in the show note. Please, support or compete in his tournament. I think they're trying to make it a thing. His gym, this is the second annual. I mean, it's again, running a competition is no joke, right?
Not easy.
And they're really doing it, putting in the work, and this is how we grow the sport. Let's go support it. Yeah.
Yep. And HigashiBrand.com, check it out, please. Products, and then we have JudoTV.com. Use discount code Shintaro, and that covers the sponsors.
And Clean Skincare, you get buy one get one free. Shintaro 2024. Everything will be in the show notes. Thanks for your support. Great.
But instructionals, man. Some are useful, some are not useful. And like I said, average hour to hour and a half. You look at some of the exceptional outliers who have 8 hours of content, 6 hours of content. It's kind of nuts. But, those guys have sold, and, they look at the statistics, and, people get through maybe 30% of the video, they say, but, they're happy with the product. I mean, you get so much information from some of the best minds in the grappling world. And the jiu-jitsu fanatics, they do a really good job, because every single person doing jiu-jitsu almost relies on instructional money, whether they're teaching in the room, doing privates,
Right.
helping out at their local gym. Judo guys who are at the highest levels, they're not doing seminars, they're not doing private
No.
lessons, they're not making content at all,
Yeah.
because that's not what they're doing. That's not what they're getting paid for. They get paid a salary to compete and
train.
win. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So it's a different ball game. And then there's a language barrier. When
Yeah.
you're trying to do a fanatics and you get a Japanese guy over here and they don't speak a word of English,
Yeah.
there's a lot of challenges.
Right. So then there were people were questioning about that. I had some questions about that. So, they get a salary. I actually looked up in Korea, they get about like the entry level, like corporate position salary,
Yep,
like
they do.
80K.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
if you're good, you will get more than 100K. I think, that's like a good salary in Korea and in dollars. And then, but to BJJ people, why do they have to rely on these instructions? Do they not get a salary from their dojo gyms, or is it
No.
just no?
I mean,
Well,
if they teach classes, they get paid
Yeah.
per class to teach.
Per class.
And then usually every gym has their own pay rate. It's like, okay, you teach this class, it's $40 for the session, and you teach 10 classes, I'll give you $400. That
Right.
kind of a situation. There's
I
no
see.
full-blown salary to like just train and compete.
I
There's
see.
none of that. There's none of that. I wish there was. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's
But
kind of nice to,
So they're being paid as a teacher most of the time.
being a kid as a teacher, and then it's like, all right, use those classes to like get privates,
Yeah, I see.
And then majority of the time, it's like, hey, you do a private, you have to kick back to the gym, and it's a percentage split, and then
Yeah.
right, because the gym is paying for the lights,
Right.
paying for the math, so it's only fair. And the whole
So
thing,
that's
man.
why and then the instruction is another revenue stream for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because they're used to doing privates, they're used to teaching classes, they're much better at it.
Right. You know what? That's true. Like a lot of the high level judo people, I don't know if they will be good at like teaching hobbyists. Like
No.
a lot of them go on to become coaches, but they're like coaching other high level guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And then the
Yeah.
federation pays them.
Yeah.
You are an Olympian from Canada, and then
Yeah.
you become a champion, and then all of a sudden you're now a Canadian national team coach. You get a salary from
Yeah.
that organization. You're
Right.
not doing instruction. Maybe you own a dojo somewhere. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a side hustle.
Yeah. Yeah. My Korean judo teacher was like that. Back in the day, his main job really was coaching the National Paralympics team, but his gym was just like,
Yeah. Is the dollar really strong against the Korean won also?
I think right now, I think,
It is, right?
well,
Yeah.
I haven't checked recently, but I think last year or earlier this year, I think it was like pretty nice to go as an American to
Japan
travel.
too, man. Japan too.
Yeah.
I see all these like reels like, oh, don't go to Disney World in Orlando. You go to
Go to
Disney in
Tokyo.
Japan. Yeah,
Oh,
go
in
to Tokyo Disney, and then cheaper.
Cheaper. To Disney World is pretty. I went last year, and it was a nice vacation, but it's pretty expensive now. Yeah.
So how much was yours?
I don't remember now. Well, I have a friend whose father used to work for Disney as a Imagineer, so he's retired now. But we got a lot of his like employee family perks.
Nice. Wow.
Like they
call
call
you
him
to go to Disney. Yeah.
staff member. I know. He's such a nice guy. So he got us a lot of deals and stuff. So it was like manageable. But
Yeah.
I could say like and they were just like 4 adults.
Yeah.
Imagine bringing, 2 adults and 2 kids.
Oh,
And
brutal.
all that. It's like it's anywho.
Yep.
So I had another question. So now about how to utilize instruction as well. So you kind of started talking about it a little bit. So you were saying a lot of times BJJ hobbyists, especially, they get a lot of information through instructionals, like extra information. So what would be, in your opinion, the best way to utilize it? Like, do you watch them and try to apply them in class, or just drill them, or
So I really think it's like sales, like
Yeah.
you need 7 soft touches before someone buys something,
Yeah.
They Google judo, they see my thing, they see it once, they don't click on it, they see the ad, they maybe click on it, they go to the thing, they disappear, they see it on Instagram, they see it, they type it in judo on the
Yeah.
YouTube. They see my video and they're like, you know what, let me go try it out.
Yeah.
They don't show up for a trial. I bombard them with emails, and then eventually they come back and then maybe they sign up. It's like 7 or 8 touch points, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the instructional. You need like repetitive exposure to this stuff because you can't get all the details in one shot.
Right.
So watch it, try it, and then try it not in like a live setting, but in a very controlled, low intensity setting with low risk. That's the number one way to learn.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a segment in my video also, like how do you use this stuff and how do you drill effectively to develop some of these skills. And that's pretty much it. You got to do it in a low risk setting. Because if there's risk is high and you're like, oh my God, right? You're not going to learn anything.
You can't really, you can't really try things out because you're going to get shut down.
You get shut down or even punished for it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the best advice. I do have a segment in it. Watch it repeatedly. Go try it. Watch it. Go try it. Watch it and then share it with a friend. So then that person can watch it together and like, this is what we're going to work on.
Together, yeah.
So you're kind of having this like sort of concentrated time when you're spending time in the position.
Nice.
Now, that's the important thing.
How do you pick the right? That's like once you buy the right instructional, that's how you will learn from it. How do you pick the right instructional?
Honestly, man, everyone's putting up instructional stuff, snippets of it on YouTube. So you got to watch it. Are they consistent with it? Do they have a variety of stuff? Are they teaching 1 or 2 things only, or are they teaching a multiple, range of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to have your followers, right? You're following, your
Shintaro.
gurus. Yeah. So if you watch my stuff, you kind of have a general idea of my teaching style. And if you like it, that's what you can expect in a much more professional but longer setting.
Right.
Because now there's a whole crew of people working on it alongside me.
Yeah.
So not just me, but anybody that you like watching on YouTube, go check the page out for Fanatics and then see if it works for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nogi judo.
I've seen some good ones. I've seen some great instructionals.
Yeah. The bad ones too.
I see some really bad ones also. It's like, what am I watching?
Well, this one has a stamp of what do you call that? Quality, stamp of quality, stamp of whatever.
Stamp of approval.
Approval from Shintaro, and it's guaranteed
it's
quality.
Me, so,
yeah. Guaranteed quality. So go check them out, guys. When is that coming out?
I don't know, within a month, I think. So keep an eye out for it. Follow me on Instagram and get updates and such. And in the meanwhile, go to higashibrand.com and check that out and follow Peter and send him a lot of messages late in the night.
Yeah, that's what keeps me up. Yeah.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep.
All right, thanks guys, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.